Humans impact the world around us, no doubt about it. But how do we impact our environment, and how does that interact with ecology? For this presentation, you are going to learn how to create a solution that's going to reduce the impact that humans have on our ecosystems and environment. Sustainability is the balance between Earth's resources, human needs, and the needs of everybody else on the planet, all the other species. We leave a carbon footprint. An ecological carbon footprint is the amount of carbon that we emit that impacts our environmental system. Resources around the planet are finite. We can replenish some, but not others. So resources that are produced or replenished more quickly than they can be consumed are what we will call a renewable resource. Those are things like oxygen, wood, water, sunlight. Non-renewable resources, they're consumed very, very quickly, and they're not easily as created or replaced. Like fossil fuels, those are millions of years old. We can't create more fossil fuels in our lifetime, nor can we create more metals than what already exists on the planet. Technology both contributes to air, water, and land pollution. And even in this day and age, just because we have found a way to, play technology into our lives doesn't necessarily mean we're not impacting the environment because of it. It provides us a clean energy, yes, but we also need to manage technology waste, and we need to find a way to clean up after the pollution our technology has caused. There's really three main types of technology that are currently influencing sustainability in our world. One of the biggest ones is agriculture technology. We want to increase food productivity as there's more humans on the planet. When we use those fertilizers for farming, when we build these irrigation systems to water our crops, when we use new technology, machinery to make more mass food production, we are not using humans as much anymore. So that's a good thing, right? But these fertilizers, remember, they cause excess nitrogen. They can definitely change the chemical composition of our soil. And then, of course, machinery, that stuff runs off of fossil fuels, which puts carbon into the air and pollutes the environment. So we have some alternative energy techniques. We want to provide clean energy to our society without really negatively infecting or influencing our atmosphere. If we decrease the burning of fossil fuels, then we could find other things, renewable resources to use, like sunlight, wind, water, and even nuclear energy. The problem with a lot of that is that, it's very expensive. We haven't developed the technology enough to make it really cost effective. And then, of course, nuclear energy, although a renewable, clean burning source, it does create a radioactive waste issue. Industrial technology is manufacturing efficiency, also our infrastructure, our transportation, and how we communicate. Improving communication is great. We learn to transport things a lot faster, and even make things less expensive and use less costly way to make them as well. But this always has a price. We create these CFCs, which are chlorofluorocarbons. They're from packing materials and refrigerants and a variety of other ways they get into the environment. These CFC compounds, they attach to O3, which is our ozone, and basically rip it out of the atmospheric layer, creating these holes in the ozone, which is what protects us from the sun's radiation. Burning these fossil fuels puts a lot of carbon up into the atmosphere. When these particles get up into the atmosphere, they increase the greenhouse effect on the planet. These gases can also attach to water molecules when it rains, creating acid rain. This is going to lower the pH of the soil, changing the soil, leaching out nutrients from the soil, And then, of course, once it hits and runs off and runs into a lake, then it's going to change the pH of aquatic systems. The greenhouse effect is a normal warming effect on the planet. It's what keeps us from freezing out here in space, floating around the sun. If we didn't have an atmosphere, we wouldn't be warmer. But there's a lot of greenhouse gases, I should say. Carbon dioxide is just one that we've talked about, but O2, oxygen gas, that's another one. CH4, that is methane, produced in the guts, a large amount in ruminants animals that chew on vegetation, like cows, and water. Water vapor in the air is also a greenhouse gas. When the sun's rays, when they move through space, it travels like a particle and a wave, a photon does. It enters our atmosphere and bounces around between the Earth's surface and our ozone, creating this heat trap. And that is what keeps the planet warm. The ozone layer prevents heat from escaping into the atmosphere, so it's important and we need to keep it there. So the term global warming, which should be better coined as climate change, when these chlorofluorocarbons that were being produced from manufacturing depleted the ozone layer, that allowed more of the sun's UV rays to get through our protective layer and enter our planet. The biggest contributor was burning fossil fuels. So by releasing that carbon dioxide gas into the atmosphere, we increased the greenhouse gases that were in the atmosphere, overall eventually increasing the Earth's overall temperature. And that's how it was coined, the term global warming. Again, this is all important because of that biodiversity keystone species aspect. Biodiversity, the total amount of variation of life on Earth. A highly biodiverse population reflects a healthy ecosystem. And we live here too. How humans threaten this ecosystem is by destroying habitats, which lead to populations of species just fragmented. We also cause pollution. Humans are the ones that cause pollution. Polar bears are not out there causing pollution. We do things like move organisms on purpose around the planet, creating these invasive species where we put species that don't belong in a certain ecosystem there, and that negatively affects an environment.